Imagine standing on a battlefield in 1944. Hundreds of American tanks stretch across the horizon. Military trucks move through muddy roads. Soldiers appear to be preparing for a major offensive. From above, everything looks exactly as it should. To German reconnaissance pilots, this appears to be a powerful American force gathering for battle. There is only one problem. None of it is real. The tanks are inflatable. The army is much smaller than it appears. Even the sounds of war are carefully staged. And yet, one of the most powerful military machines in history believed the illusion. So how did an army armed with rubber tanks and recorded sound manage to fool Nazi intelligence during World War II?
Military deception is nothing new. For thousands of years, armies have used tricks, disguises, and misinformation to confuse their enemies. But what happened in Europe during the final years of World War II was different. This was not about hiding soldiers. It was about creating soldiers who were never there. The United States assembled a highly specialized unit whose primary weapon was not firepower. It was perception. Their mission was simple: convince the enemy that a massive military force existed where none actually did. The idea sounds absurd, and that raises an even bigger question. If the deception was so obvious, why did it work?
Until this point, it almost sounds like fiction. But the Ghost Army was real. Officially known as the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, this highly specialized American unit had a mission unlike any other in World War II. Instead of overwhelming the enemy with firepower, they were expected to overwhelm them with perception. Their ranks included engineers, radio operators, camouflage experts, artists, designers, and sound specialists. Many of them would later become successful painters, illustrators, architects, and advertising professionals after the war. Together, they transformed creativity into a military weapon. Every inflatable tank, every fake vehicle, every carefully placed track in the mud, and every radio transmission served a single purpose: to convince German intelligence that an entire army existed where, in reality, only a few hundred men were operating. The idea was bold, but an idea alone could never fool an experienced enemy. To succeed, the deception had to look, sound, and even behave like a real army. And that required far more than inflatable tanks.
The Ghost Army understood one simple truth: a convincing illusion cannot rely on a single trick. If German reconnaissance saw tanks, they also expected to hear engines. If they intercepted radio traffic, they expected it to match the size of the force they believed they were observing. So the Ghost Army built an illusion with multiple layers. Inflatable tanks and fake artillery created the visual deception. Powerful loudspeakers played carefully recorded sounds of armored columns moving into position, allowing those noises to travel for miles under the right conditions. Specialized radio operators generated realistic communications, imitating the traffic patterns of larger military formations. Even simple details mattered. Fresh tire tracks, footprints, temporary camps, and convincing vehicle movement all reinforced the story they wanted the enemy to believe. Each element supported the others. Seen alone, any one of these tricks might have looked suspicious. Combined together, they created something far more dangerous. A battlefield that existed only in the enemy's mind. The real question was no longer whether the illusion looked convincing. It was whether German intelligence would act on what they believed they had seen.
By itself, an inflatable tank meant nothing. A recorded engine sound meant nothing. A fake radio message meant nothing. But when every piece of evidence pointed toward the same conclusion, German intelligence faced a dangerous problem. Everything they were seeing appeared to confirm everything they were hearing. Reconnaissance aircraft reported armored formations. Radio operators intercepted believable military traffic. Observers on the ground found tire tracks, campsites, and convincing signs of troop movement. Instead of questioning the illusion, many intelligence reports reinforced it. That was exactly what the Ghost Army wanted. Their objective was never to defeat German forces in direct combat. It was to influence where those forces moved, where they waited, and where they expected the next Allied attack to happen. Every hour spent reacting to a non-existent army was another hour gained for the real Allied forces operating somewhere else. In war, information can be just as powerful as firepower. And sometimes, changing what your enemy believes is enough to change what they do.
When the war finally ended, the Ghost Army did not return home as celebrated heroes. Most people had never heard of them, and for decades, many of the men who served in the unit could not fully explain what they had done. Much of their work remained classified long after the fighting had stopped. That secrecy became part of their mission. They had created an illusion so convincing that even its existence remained hidden from the public. Only years later did historians begin piecing together photographs, military records, and personal accounts that revealed how unusual this unit truly was. The Ghost Army did not leave behind famous battlefield victories. Instead, they left behind something far more difficult to measure: confusion inside the enemy's decision-making process. Their greatest weapon was never a tank. It was belief. And for one of the most powerful armies in history, that belief proved convincing enough.
History often remembers the loudest victories, the largest battles, the most powerful weapons, the generals whose names filled history books. But not every victory was earned through overwhelming force. Sometimes, the outcome of a battle depended on something much harder to see. A false radio transmission, a convincing set of tire tracks, an inflatable tank standing silently in an empty field. The Ghost Army reminds us that war is not only a contest of weapons, it is also a contest of information, of perception, of decisions made under uncertainty. Their mission was never to destroy an enemy. It was to shape what that enemy believed. And in doing so, they demonstrated one of the oldest principles of strategy. The side that controls the story often influences the battlefield long before the first shot is fired.
For decades, the story of the Ghost Army remained hidden behind classified files and the memories of the people who lived it. Today, we know that some of the most remarkable moments in history were not always won with the biggest armies or the most powerful weapons. Sometimes they were won with creativity, patience, and a deep understanding of human perception. The Ghost Army is no longer a secret, but history is still full of secrets waiting to be uncovered. And perhaps the next forgotten story is even more unbelievable than this one. If you enjoy exploring the hidden side of history, consider subscribing so you won't miss our next investigation. Until then, remember this: not every battle is fought with bullets. Some are won by changing what the enemy believes.
The Ghost Army proved that history isn't always shaped by the biggest weapons or the largest armies. Sometimes it is shaped by a single idea, powerful enough to change what an enemy believes.
And if a military operation this extraordinary remained hidden for decades, it raises an unsettling question. How many other forgotten stories are still buried in the pages of history? If you enjoy uncovering the mysteries history left behind, subscribe and join us for the next investigation. And if you'd like to continue right now, the video on your screen explores another hidden operation that changed history in ways most people never realized. Until next time, keep asking questions, because history always has another secret waiting to be uncovered.